Hey everybody, Mike Hartman here with Ohio Bigfoot Project, and today we're going to talk about microphones and recording devices, specifically parabolic microphones, their upside and their downside, and how to make them better. Basically, in the world of microphones, there's 6 different types. There's hypercardioid, supercardioid, bidirectional, cardioid, and omnidirectional. And then regular cardioid. So we're not going to OL and shotgun. So yeah, those are your 6. So anyways, 4 of those we're not concerned with. Actually, probably... Well, the only one we really need to know about for this is cardioid, shotgun, and omnidirectional. An omnidirectional microphone records everything around it. So if this was my recorder, the space that it's going to record around it is everywhere. This is an omnidirectional. A cardioid microphone will only record a partial area around it. Okay, it would look basically like this beam of light, only wider. So let me back it up. This would be cardioid. This is where your microphone, your recording area is. Omnidirectional would cover the entire paper. Cardioid would cover most of it. Then you have your shotgun mic, which would be a long, thin recording area. And I hope that makes sense. So a shotgun mic records just straight on, straight ahead. Your cardioid, kind of like from the end of your microphone, will record at a 45-degree angle and a 45-degree angle, whereas an omnidirectional would record the entire room, everything around it. Now, most of your parabolics use a cardioid microphone, meaning it just records what's in front of it because it's hitting a dish. Okay, so it's recording a surface area. So you have a dish. Don't want to stay up there too well. It's slightly curved. Your microphone's aimed at the center. Okay, so this is your recording area right here. Well, what happens is the sound comes from the direction out in front of you and it hits the dish. The only thing with a parabolic microphone is literally just the surface of the dish. That's it. And usually they're curved, but they're curved so that the sound goes inwards towards the center where the microphone is aimed. Okay. Now, you can use any types of dishes, okay? But there's a downfall that a lot of people don't know to all microphones. And that's that when they record a sound, they typically automatically reduce their volume. Okay, so if you're recording at a 3 and you hear a sound, your recorder microphone input might drop down to a 2 until whatever is done making sound stops making sound. Then it'll go back up to level 3. Well, a parabolic mic is just set at its highest setting. It's set at number 10, okay, 0, 10. 10 meaning barely recording, 10 means volume all the way up for recording volume. And that's what your parabolic is. It's set at full blast so that it's hitting the shield, and then the sound comes in, hits this, rolls it around that pan area with your microphone aimed at the center so that the sound can come across of it. I've made parabolics out of trash can lids, old satellite dishes, you name it. They work great, but they also have a couple downfalls. Okay, they're designed to capture front noise. And a lot of people don't know this about parabolic mics, but part of their entire deal, they were originally designed for listening to birds, bird watching. And because of the natural volume drop, what it's supposed to do is block the sound of the person using it as well as capture. So it's got kind of two things going on at once. So this is my parabolic dish. Okay. Just my curved little dish to capture sound. Now if the sound comes from this way, you can see it hits the dish over on this side, so the microphone in the center will catch it. If it comes from straight on, it'll capture all the sound. If it comes from the other side, it'll capture over here and the sound will roll around to the front of the microphone, which is great. But that can also be deceiving, because if I have my dish out in front of me and the sound hits from over here, it's going to roll across the front of the dish, and I'm going to think, okay, I don't have you really don't get a direction as to where the sound's coming from. So you might think it's directly in front of you at 100 yards, when really it's right beside you at only 40 yards. The reason why is that because the angle of the sound doesn't hit the full face of the dish like it would this way. Okay, they're the whole thing, but if the sound hits from over here, you're not going to catch the whole sound, so the sound is going to be reduced in volume naturally, because the dish is going to be blocking out part of the volume, and so it's going to make it sound quieter than it actually is. So you might think that the sound happened, well, that was pretty quiet, it's way far away at 100 yards, when really it was only 40 yards. It just happened kind of behind the dish. And because when you use a parabolic, you use headphones, so your ears are blocked out to other sounds, thus you really don't hear it for yourself. You're simply relying on the microphone and the microphone only to catch the sound, which with the parabolic can lead to collection of interference. Okay, if your curved dish is out in front of you, then it's going to capture all sound that it's aimed at, right? Well, let's say I have my mic pointed out this way, okay? Here's my dish, my parabolic. I'm recording directly towards you. Over here are some frogs going off. Those frogs are going to be bouncing off of the dish, but it's going to concentrate it within the dish. Overhead is a jet airplane while the frogs are going off. That sound is coming down and being circulated within the dish. And my microphone is going to be aimed right there, so it's going to be picking up all that interference. That's why microphones are designed to automatically reduce in volume when a sound happens. Okay, so that brings you to what kind of microphone and why when it comes to parabolics. Right there's what I use. This is omnidirectional. It's got a shotgun mic that goes out this way, a shotgun mic that goes out this way. It's got an omnidirectional, which curves this way. It's got another omnidirectional, or cardioid, which goes this way. Then it's got my omnidirectional, which goes all the way around it. So it's really, then it's got my front mic, which I forgot about, which is cardioid. And then it's got a teeny tiny little cardioid microphone. So it's got a shotgun, a cardioid, an omnidirectional, and an omnidirectional. So it's constantly recording 360 degrees. Just like this little guy. My little microphone here. Now here's where things get interesting though. Because this omnidirectional microphone, or this omnidirectional microphone, can be altered into any type of microphone. That's why I like omnidirectional microphones. So, with that being said, as I said, if this is your microphone, a shotgun mic is going to record like that. A cardioid mic is going to record all of this, where an omnidirectional is going to cover everything. Okay, and that's important to know, because you want to know what type of microphone your recorder has. Now, simple plastic bottle. I'm going to take the cap off. Take my super sharp skinny knife. I'm going to take the tip. Off of it. I'm going to take my omnidirectional microphone and I'm going to hold it in here. So now I have a shotgun microphone. I just turned an omnidirectional into a shotgun, because it's not going to record as loud out here, but it's going to record loud here. The other thing now is, what about parabolics? $2 at the dollar store. A waste can. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to put my microphone inside. Wherever I aim that waste can is the sound that I'm going to capture. Okay, so I take my microphone and put it in here. Now my parabolic is aimed that way. It's still going to get a little bit of sound, but when I aim my parabolic this way towards me, it's going to catch a whole lot more sound. Parabolic, real simple. You can even cut a hole in the bottom of this, which I've done. I've cut a hole of these, slid this microphone into it, and set it up on a table, or I've set my microphone inside, but on a little chunk of 2x4 so that it's not resting on the very bottom. It's sitting up a little bit. Simple waste paper can. There you've got a parabolic. That's all the dish does, is trap sound. This curved edge is going to trap sound at anything from a 45 out here to a 45 out here. Now, anyone who knows me knows of my recording device, which I use as Zoom, and I use 3 microphones. There was a time when I owned up to 15 of these. I believe the most I ever owned at one time was 20 when it was the old cassette tape type. Now they're digital. So let's talk about the Sampus now, or your just any handheld digital recorder. Okay, my Zoom I can hook up the 4 microphones to it, but generally I only hook 3 up to it. I have one aimed out to my left, one aimed out to my right, one aimed out directly in front of me. Why? Why would I want 3 microphones? Why would I want to run 3 separate microphones with no dish in the same location, or even with a dish from the exact same spot, but pointed in 3 different directions? Time to fire up the computer. Before we go to the computer, I want to show you this real quick. This is simply where I put my phone. That's where I put my phone when I record. It's got this handle out here. But if I put that on there and tape it down and throw my microphone inside, then I now have a shotgun mic aimed at me. Okay, it's just a shotgun mic aimed at me while I'm recording. But right now, we want to slide over to the laptop. So let me get everything fired up here, waiting for it to warm up. And I'll show you why I use 3 separate microphones from one location. Okay, this is what an average recording looks like. It's a bunch of ups and downs. Now, if I want to, which is kind of hard to do upside down here, so what I can do is I can also add the spectrogram to it so that I can see what the sound looks like rolling across the bottom. Now when you put that in microphone terms, basically you have this little squiggly line right in the center. Now I'm doing this upside down, so a wood knock will look like this. But in my case, a wood knock will look like this. It'll look like this. Or it'll look like this. Remember, my recorders, I've got a microphone aimed this way, a microphone aimed out in front. Like I said, I'm doing this upside down for your benefit, and a microphone aimed that way. So I'm recording the sound from here. I'm recording the sound from here. And I'm recording the sound from here. So all my sound is going to come from these 3 areas. So going back to this, if the bar is higher up here and lower down here, then I know that came from my right microphone. If it's lower down here, or higher up here, but lower down here, then I know that got hit on the left microphone. If it's equal from the top to the bottom, then I know both microphones got the recording. I hope that makes sense. So I'm all about the evidence. If I put it on my Audacity, because I'm all about the evidence, and I look at those wave tracks and I see these lines, then I know that if I got a right microphone sound hit and I want to go find evidence, I only need to cover a pie-shaped area to my right. If I get a higher hit on the left, I know I want to cover a pie-shaped area to my left. And if I get it equal, then I know that the sound happened out in front of me. So if I want to go searching for evidence, I know I'm searching the general area in front of me because it wasn't as high on the left and it wasn't as high on the right. Okay, my right's going to peak up here with a little bit of left capture. My left's going to peak up here with a little bit of right capture. And then this is my center microphone. So it tells me what direction I want to go in. Because essentially, my recorder, if I'm sitting here and my recording area is out here, and here's one mic and here's the other mic, and this mic has the biggest dash, then I know I don't need to hike all of this area. I just need to hike in this direction, and that's where I'm going to find the evidence. If the sound hits equally, then I know that it happened out here, and that's the direction I need to go. Or if the dash hits like this, I know that's the direction I need to go in. It makes it very simple for me. Now the thing is, with my Zoom setup, I can buy 25 of these for what my one Zoom cost me. As I said, I ran up to 20 of these at one time. Why on earth would a nutcase want to run 20 recorders at one time? Well, let's look into that. Okay, if I take my recorder and I throw it in the bottle, and I got one out here on the edge of the picnic table. I've got one out here in front of me, and I've got one out here on the edge of the picnic table, right? Got 3 units running. If this microphone records a wood knock, this one catches a knock at the same time, and this one catches a little bit of a knock at the same time. Whichever recording device records the loudest, I know that's the direction that the recording came from. Okay, that's why I run these in 3s. I always run them in 3s. Now all of these, when you turn them on, have a little recording counter when you're recording. And there it is. You can see all the microphones lighting up. Down here is a little clock ticking, this red bar. So I have a watch or my phone sitting here. So as I'm watching this, I turn all 3 of these on at the same time. I hear a knock, I look down here. Well, that sound happened at 0.000028 seconds. Okay, so then I write down the time. Then I hear another knock, and it's at 00:32 minutes, 14 seconds. I write down the time. Reason why. I can load multiple tracks to with my Audacity. Okay? But if I'm out in the woods for 6 hours recording, I hear a sound, I write down what the timestamp is, which I can actually turn that off now. I write down what the timestamp is. Well, now I don't have to listen to 6 hours of recording. All I have to look at is 32 minutes, 14 seconds into the recording. I marked down that there was a sound. So I'm eliminating having to listen to hours upon hours upon hours of recording. I'm turning minutes into seconds when it comes to editing. And I can look at all my tracks at once. And that Audacity is going to tell me which recorder recorded it the loudest. But, as I said, I used to run about 20 of these microphones. So let's say this particular area here is, doing this upside down, 5,000 acres. Okay, that's a big area. But I have 20 recorders. So I can put one here, one here, one here. Say I park here. I can put one here, hike out this way. Put one here, hike out this way. Put one here, hike back this way. Put one here, hike out here. Put one, hike back here. Put one, hike a big loop. Put one, hike back here, come back to the car. Hike into the woods, hike over, leave one, go back to the car, and then I can leave them in the woods because generally these will record up to about 20 hours, which you put it in one of these, you put the cap back on. Only thing I would recommend is make your ring guard this knife is sickening sharp. I've cut myself with it many times. Is basically you're just going to cut a little lip. And then you want it aimed slightly downward, but you put it on a limb. You dip your finger in your silicone and you rub it in here. All that does is make a surface for your microphone to stick to so that when it slides down it doesn't fall out. The silicone will hold it so that it doesn't slide out. You wrap this in an old piece of t-shirt, set it on a limb in the woods, put a couple pieces of rope around it, walk away. You can leave that in the woods for weeks on end and water won't damage it. It just makes it waterproof. You can use a Tupperware container. You can use anything. I just use simple bottles, and a lot of times I'll spray paint these so that they don't pick up sun glare and draw attention from people. But I can just leave that in the woods right like that. Now when you're recording in the woods, as long as you're present, I go full on and I never turn this off. I use my timestamp to note when I recorded a sound. But all of these have what they call VOX, voice activated recording. It's a great thing and it's a crappy thing. Because what it is that you set this up, when this hears a sound, it'll start recording. So for a vocalization, you're going to lose about 0.35 seconds of that vocalization. Sometimes even less, not even half a second. The thing is that if you hear a wood knock, a lot of times the knock will set this off, but not record the knock. So this will kick on for 10, 20 seconds, but there was no sound. Well, what set it off? Well, it could have been a wood knock, but you don't know because the sound wasn't recording. That's why I record 24/7. But if I do that, I got to check these every 20 hours, which is, for a weekend, not that bad, because I can get there early on a Friday, hike my path of the area I want to set up all my recorders at these little spaces, and then go research an entirely different area and collect all these 20 hours later, and so on. But with the Vox, I can leave these out here for a month or more, as long as the batteries hold up. And the battery on these Sampus, SAIMPU, they last forever. This is a fantastic recorder. They cost about 30 bucks. I absolutely love them. They're sleek, they're small, they're simple, they're multi-track, and they are just great because they record everything. And they record channel left side, right side. So again, even with these, I can tell kind of where the sound came from, if you break down the channels, which you have to have a program like Audacity to do that. So there you go. As far as parabolics go, simple waste can, a trash can lid, an old satellite dish. You aim your microphone at the back of the dish. You don't want your microphone sticking out. You aim them back at the surface of the capture. That simple. In this case, because of the depth of the bucket, I just let the microphones shoot outwards. I can take this exact same omnidirectional mic, turn it into a shotgun recorder, which I showed you earlier. I can leave it uncased and use it as an omnidirectional. So I can turn an omnidirectional into a cardioid, a shotgun, a supercardioid, a hydrocardioid, or any type of microphone in the world with an omnidirectional. There you go. Good luck.